I wanted to share a few ideas with you about faith because, as I'm sure you're well aware, today so-called spiritual leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, everywhere you turn, you'll hear people speak of faith. But I would argue that there is faith in things seen, and then there is real faith which must be in things unseen. And though most of us, depending upon our tradition, our culture, would attest to the fact that we are men and women of faith, friends of truth, if we could see ourselves properly, which we must if we are ever to develop real faith, then we must see what it is that we turn to in a moment of fear, of worry, of trouble, of inertia, of feeling inadequate. Because if we were capable, if we could have someone with us in that moment where the trouble comes, where the conflict appears, we would see that the way in which our minds presently work and our hearts in connection with them is that the first thing that we turn to is something that we see. Because we see through our thoughts that first project the fear and then tell us what we must do to protect ourselves from it. We see our own rescue. When someone hurts us or we're betrayed by a moment, in those moments, where is our faith if not completely caught in some set of feelings that delivers us one way or another into a set of actions that promise to reconcile for us the pain that we've been given to feel in that moment? Again, this is faith in things seen, because these feelings and thoughts in conjunction with them, they paint a picture, a promise of something to come, a moment in which we'll no longer feel what we feel. These thoughts and feelings, as we look at them, draw all kinds of pleasing images about ways in which we can protect ourselves or otherwise separate ourselves from our suffering. And we find in these images, these thoughts and feelings, the promise of a time to come in which the fear we feel now won't be as present and punishing as it is. But if we're honest, which we must be if we're true aspirants, then we have to recognize that for all of these promises, for everything that we have vested our faith in, not given lip service to, not sitting in church or synagogue or in a mosque somewhere, not sitting at home and feeling all stirred up because we've read something spiritually true or heard something that moved us, but in the actual moment when life hits us between the eyes, to see that we turn our attention to a resistance to the moment. And the resistance to the moment is first and foremost a set of thoughts and feelings set up against it because that runs contrary to what we want. And then from that body of thoughts and feelings, we begin to find friends. Our faith is moved into the fulfillment of possibilities as projected by these thoughts and feelings. And so our faith is in things seen. And we receive, by the way, the emptiness of those promises when they're always proven to be empty. Because until we change our nature, which can only be done by meeting these moments of fear and worry with an understanding that our eye must be single and it must rest in the understanding that the moment has come to reveal to us ourselves what our true possibilities are if we will let go of trying to recreate for ourselves promises that seem betrayed by the unwanted moment. Let our faith, to use that word, be in things unseen. When a moment comes that we don't want, let us remember ourselves and simply see that any thought or feeling that comes to rescue us, to explain our situation to ourselves, to justify to ourselves why we feel the way we do, let alone set us out on a path of trying to pursue and procure for ourselves some escape or safety from that pain, let us understand that the nature that we are giving ourselves over to rescue ourselves is the same one that has placed us in the situation where we feel that rescue is necessary. For real faith to be refreshed, we must meet moments in which we find ourselves without the power to deal with what seems greater than we. But if we will remain in that powerless state, observing ourselves instead of chasing ourselves down the line of time in the hope of a triumph to come, we will be given what we need. And what we need isn't a change in circumstance, but a new insight into a higher level of consciousness that is awaiting our discovery if we will wait properly on that higher intelligence.